Welcome back to The Division 2. I have yet another rant for this game because they just don't do anything different no matter how long the game is out. I'm literally going to refer to these developers as snakes because it's clear they don't have a pair of ears between the entire studio that work on this game. We are over a year, 15 months after this game's release, and they still don't have a clue what they are doing. So what we're going to do to start things off, they did State of the Game 2 days ago. On the 11th of June, there was a State of the Game. On that live stream, Yannick stated that the raid, Operation Rusty Donkey, Raid 2, would come out early July. Then later in the stream, they go on to say that early July is just like an estimate. They can't actually set anything in stone because they don't know. But they were leading towards it being the end of July. And then literally the following day, they have released this article on the Ubisoft website this week in the Division 2, June 12th. So this is the day after the State of the Game stream. I will leave a link to this in the description. Even though we are going through it, you guys can check it out and just see for yourselves. I don't get it. Like, how can you work in the development of a game company? Like, you work developing a game. Or even if you're just a community manager, like a T-boy, then how can you not understand that you're telling people about leaving community feedback and you don't fucking listen to it? This article is enough to prove that they do not listen to a word they are told. And it really, really frustrates me. Like, really frustrates me. Because this, again, is another blatant fucking money grab. So we're going to have a look at this article. It starts off, Season 1 Shadowtide for the Division 2 Warlords of New York draws to a close in its final days, and will officially end on June 15th. This means you've only got a few days left to obtain and claim all the available rewards from Season 1. You haven't because, well, you pretty much have from the season, but if it's the EMP Sticky Bomb, don't worry, they're re-releasing it in Season 2. We cover everything that you need to know about the season ending in our recent wrap-up article that nobody in this world gives a shit about. But don't fret, agents, the next day, June 16th, will bring the highly anticipated... I can't read it. I can't do it. The next day, June 16th, will bring the highly anticipated Title Update 10. The PTS for TU10 closed on Wednesday, June 10th, and the past 3 weeks have seen 3 phases, dozens of improvements and fixes, including buffs to nearly every single weapon and exotic, and hundreds of comments and conversations that let us know what you thought on a wide variety of topics. We can't thank you enough for your participation throughout the PTS. The patch notes for TU10 will be available on Monday, June 15th on our official forums. Let me just state one thing about the PTS. They thought it'd be a good idea to try and piss people off that use status effect builds. They went and increased all of the resistances for the NPCs, and it got to the point where legendary NPCs were 75% resistant to any status effect in the game. They then realised that people never asked for that change, people were pissed about that change, so they had to go and revert it in the next phase. So they're not listening to the community in any way, shape or form. They're trying to build the game how they want and keep the players, like, they're literally trying to wrap us under their thumbs. They want us to be as powerful as they want us to be. We can't go and be as powerful as we want to be. They're trying to do that, and then when they get a gigantic amount of backlash, they will change something. But it needs to be said by lots and lots of people for them to take any notice. And I'm talking thousands of people. But these patch notes are available on Monday. It probably won't include anything about the change because it got reverted for status effects, but there's a lot of other things in there too. And they're saying it's highly anticipated, meaning players want this stuff. The only rifle in the whole game that was really, if you could even see it as that, because it was too powerful, so I wouldn't see it as a problem, but according to the devs, the only rifle in the game that was a problem was the classic M1A. That wasn't the only rifle they nerfed. They've also nerfed the MK17. Why did they go and touch that gun when they didn't need to? They've even stated here, buffs to nearly every single weapon and exotic. I believe pretty much every single weapon and exotic has had a buff. Some of them buffed, some of them nerfed. So they've had changes for pretty much every single weapon and exotic. Some are buffed, some are nerfed, and some are pointlessly nerfed. Some are probably going to be buffed too much. And with the Eagle Bearer, for example, that was nerfed by 15% when it came out because it was far too overpowered in PvP, yet they've just gone and buffed it by 8%. Like, they need to... Every single fucking... I'm not even going to call them title updates. They're basically patches. Every single patch just changes stuff. It does balancing. That's all these developers know, is balancing changes. They'll make something shit in one update. They'll make it better in the next. Then they'll try and perfect it and they'll break it in the next. Then the next one they'll go back to nerfing it and then it'll be buffing it again. Just find a middle ground and fucking stick to it and focus on content. It's not a hard concept. But anyway, Hot on the Hills of TU10 will be the beginning of Season 2. It doesn't actually have a name, like Shadow Tide or whatever that was bloody called. Yeah, Shadow Tide. It doesn't have a name like that, it's just Season 2 at the moment. But it's going to start 1 week later, June 23rd. Keena's Legacy will bring 12 weeks of in-game activities and will feature a new manhunt, new exotics in the form of the Mantis Sniper and the Vile Mask. That's literally the only exotics in this season. The new gear set, Eclipse Protocol, a brand set named Walker Harris & Co., global events which are going to suck, leagues which are going to be boring, cosmetics which are going to be stupid looking, and a new healing trap skill variant. Just stick with the healer, like the Restorer Hive and the Chem Launcher and the Fixer Drone. You don't need to implement all this new... Especially, this is going to take 3 months to get your hands on it. By the time, like, people are going to be like, oh, look, there's a new healing trap. And by the time they've unlocked it, they're going to be like, fuck me, no point using it. I can't be bothered. For one skill variant, 3 months is far too long. These seasons are literally the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. And it's going to bring 12 weeks of in-game activities. Yeah, in-game activities doing the same shit you've been doing for the last 15 months. There is no new content in the title update, and I quote, title update. There is nothing new. The raid's not even coming out with title update 10. But you've literally, on the 16th, you've got title update 10 or patch 10. On the 23rd, you've got season 2 unnamed. And then it says here, as a reminder, Season 2 is free for all of those that own the Warlords of New York expansion, because even though these are free, you've already had to pay for the expansion. So you give us £25, we'll give you the season, because without this Warlords expansion, you can't get involved with this season. But it also says the Season 2 pass that allows for additional apparel rewards, such as the season outfit and season gear caches, is an optional purchase attached to Season 2, one that I will not be fucking buying. I am not giving them £10 for this premium track. They can suck my dick. But then we're moving on to priority alerts. Operation Rusty Donkey, Raid 2. The release of the long-awaited raid is fast approaching and we want to help provide some information before it arrives. Remember, Yannick said early July. Then it was stated later in the live stream for State of the Game that it will be probably late July. The level 40 version of the raid will become available on June 30th. So it's still in June, like they originally stated. But, followed by the level 30 version the following week. You heard it! These developers are doing a celebration for world's first completion, and the raid is only available to people with the expansion for the first fucking week. We are now in year 2. And I say we are now in year 2 because listen to this next bit. Free for all players of any game edition, and neither Warlords of New York nor the year 1 pass are needed to play it. This is year fucking 2. You're not going to need the year 1 pass regardless. But season 2, you cannot get involved unless you have Warlords. But the raid, which nobody is going to play, you can play that without any passes or anything. This is literally just a straight up money grab. How the fuck are you going to celebrate someone completing this first in the world when it's not a fair competition? People that haven't given an extra £25 cannot get involved for an entire week. Then they go and rub it in even further. Operation Rusty Donkey will require 8 players in 2 groups of 4 to play, just like Operation Dark Hours, and will demand high skills and strong builds from every one of them. For the last 15 months, all I've seen, and it's starting to give me a headache seeing this shit, is DPS. If I enter this raid, and I see one of these bosses be a DPS check, I'm gonna flip my shit. I'm gonna be fucking ballistic. Because I'm sick and tired of these devs saying, we've got this brand new content, come play our new content. It's all just revolving around DPS. I'm sick and tired of DPS builds. I want survivability. I want skill builds to be working. I do not just want to see DPS, 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 DPS. Fuck off with DPS. Learn to be more diverse. It's not hard to go, boom, these skills need this, boom. That armor needs that. It is not hard to do. You just need to listen to your community. But this is where they really rub it in. A discovery mode version of the raid will also become available in a future client update. They fucked up so badly with the first discovery mode for fucking Dark Hours. It was an absolute shambles. It was missing core mechanics. You could matchmake on there, which is what everyone wanted for the normal difficulty of the raid. So you can matchmake, you go in there. It doesn't have the core mechanics you need to know about to complete the raid. And what did they do? A few patches later, they fucking let people get the Eagle Bearer from discovery mode. But no, it was quickly patched out because it wasn't intended. How can you change the coding for a discovery mode raid to implement the drop of the most, I can't even think of a word. Everyone wanted this Eagle Bearer. Everyone grinded their asses off to try and get this Eagle Bearer. It was the only exotic assault rifle in the game when it come out. And they locked it behind the fucking raid. But then Discovery Mode had the ability to drop it for literally, I don't know, there were a few hours or something people actually had it drop. But they messed up so badly. So badly. And it's all exactly the same as the last time round. This second raid was supposed to release in 2019. We are now halfway through the next fucking year. And it's just being released. That's if they haven't made a mistake in this fucking article, because they constantly make mistakes. The most important patch note was left out of the patch notes when they nerfed the M1A by 40%. They didn't put it in there because they're always trying to hide stuff. They're forgetful. They're incompetent. There is no communication between this development team. The whole fucking team. There's just nothing there. And it's just disgusting how they can carry on doing this shit month in, month out. And they have no one else standing up to their bollocks. Nobody, all other content creators, I'm not going to name content creators, I'm pretty sure everyone knows who they are, but they lick that fucking arsehole clean. They will not say a bad word about this game. This is Season 2 of Year 2. Where is our PvE content? Where is our PvP content? Where is our new stuff to do in this game? And I don't mean a fucking league that has you running the same missions time and time again. I don't mean a brand new global event that my 4-year-old son could have come up with a better idea for. We want content. We want actual stuff to give this game value. Because right now, as it stands, as soon as September hits, this game is dead. Fully. No one will ever look back. You have a lot of fantastic games coming out in September. I'm not just referring to Outriders, which is going to be the closest to this game you're going to get. I'm talking Cyberpunk. I'm talking the Avengers game. There are so many good games coming out, and we have the new consoles at the end of this year. If these developers do not release anything, I'm going to say substantial, anything that's good enough in the next 3 months, this game is gone. Because you cannot go from year 1 releasing bullshit and charging people money for it to year 2 and doing the same thing. They stated so many times it was their biggest marketing plan to say they learnt from the mistakes of the first game. I've never heard so much horse shit in my fucking life. It's unbelievable that they are just continuing to piss on the people that are paying for them to carry on as a studio. I've even been talking to people from the fucking ETF. The people that are closest to the developers. The devs are taking the piss out of them. There's no one left in that ETF. There are literally a few people left. Everyone's leaving because the devs don't care. So Massive Entertainment, if you are watching this, get your fucking arse in gear and give us some new stuff for this game. It wouldn't be hard to do. Actually, I say it wouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard. But for some reason, it's taken you a full year to develop one fucking raid. This better be good.